Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with John and Jane Swartz, and we're going to talk about the Parkinson support group of Bardstown, which you two maintain, correct?
Correct.
Or run. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about the Parkinson support group of Bardstown. How long has it been in existence?
We started in April of 2005 and have been running since then on a steady basis.
Now, what got you involved with the group, or to start the group?
My father had Parkinson's, and about 2 years before he passed away, we discovered my husband had Parkinson's. And we previously lived in Louisville and got connected with a support group there. And when we moved to Bardstown in '04, we thought we were going to bring it with us. So that got us going.
Now, for those out there, they may have heard of Parkinson's disease, but tell us, what is Parkinson's disease?
Parkinson's disease is a neurological disorder. It's a chronic disease. It never goes away. It gets worse as the years go along, and slowly over time you lose coordination and control of your muscles. And there are different ways that people are affected by it, but generally speaking, some people will have a tremor that they can't control. It'll generally start on one side of the body and it'll move to the entire body. Or on the opposite side of the spectrum, they may have rigidity where they can't move at all. Really? Ultimately, the disease progresses. There's no given rate. It just continues to get worse and worse until you lose control of all your muscles.
Now, when were you diagnosed?
I was first diagnosed in 1998. So I've had Parkinson's now for about 15 or more years. By the time you're diagnosed, by the time the symptoms are really evident, you've probably had Parkinson's for quite a few years.
And is there a certain age point at which most people are diagnosed, or is it?
I would say most people are diagnosed when they're older, but increasingly there's the onset of the disease at a much younger age. Yeah. I attribute that to more and more neurologists in the field and more movement disorder specialists who can diagnose it. I believe that the Parkinson's has always been around for quite some time. It may be worse now, but there's no telling because we just don't know that much about it. It's a quiet disease. We don't know what causes it. We don't know what the progression is going to be in terms of time. We don't know what exactly you'll be affected by symptom-wise, and we can only treat the symptoms. There's no cure. Everyone
has a different spectrum of symptoms. Everyone has a different rate at which it progresses. Mm-hmm. And everyone's just a different case.
But there are some kind of medications that may, I assume, help some, don't help others. Is that?
There's gold standard.
There's a gold standard drug that was found, I believe, 50 years ago. And if you've ever watched the movie Awakening with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, it's a good portrayal of the finding of this substance that replaces in synthetic form the dopamine that your brain no longer secretes. So there's a small area about the size of a walnut, the Niagara substantia.
Substantia nigra, yeah.
That is that dies.
The cells die off.
Slowly die off.
Those are the cells that make the dopamine that your body needs for muscles to move.
Okay.
Yeah, and when that happens, when that begins to happen, you probably won't even know it. Mm-hmm. It's a slow progression, and when it finally gets down to a point where 70 or 80% of that part of your brain is destroyed, it stops secreting this dopamine, which is the oil that fine-tunes the movement of your muscles.
Now, with the support group here in Nelson County, how many members do you have, or how many participants do you have approximately?
Well, we have normally about 15 that show up at each meeting. Mm-hmm. It varies a bit. If everyone showed up all at once, we'd probably have 25 to 30.
Now, are they actual people who have Parkinson's, or the caregivers?
They're both. We're open to anyone touched by Parkinson's in any way. Friends, caregivers, family. Some people have a Parkinsonism. It's a disease that's much like Parkinson's, but it's I guess, caused by something other than the brain cell loss in that area of your brain.
Okay.
And multiple systems atrophy. There's just several different kinds of movement disorders that I'd say we have 3 or 4 different types of movement disorders that people that come to our group, and we all find help from each other. Just, you know, you all have some kind of movement disorder, so it helps to have that support. Everybody understands.
Now, is it a hereditary disease?
They really don't know with any kind of certitude. They've done studies. They believe that it is there is some heredity in 10% of the cases, they say.
Yeah.
But really, my diagnosis, like everybody else's, is characterized as idiopathic. That means that the disease has an unknown cause. They can induce, shouldn't say they, Parkinson's itself can be induced. The symptoms can be induced by exposure to pesticides or exposure to welding, fumes, gases, etc. But what causes a permanent case of Parkinson's, they don't know.
Do you have anybody in your family other than yourself that,
You know,
your blood family, I should say?
I think I do. I think I have had, but again, going back 50 to 100 years, it just wasn't diagnosed that much.
They called it palsy.
Yeah, if you got a case of tremor, they would say you have the palsy. But
it could potentially have been.
So like a great-grandmother had.
Yeah,
what
and
they
there really
characterized
was
as
nothing to treat the disease at that time. There was no gold standard drug, so I call it the quiet disease because generally what would happen is people would lose their jobs, go home and just be quiet until they died. We think, and I firmly believe, having had Parkinson's now going on 20 years, that the sooner you acknowledge the disease, come to terms with it, and get on the best medication you can, I really believe that you'll find ways to slow the progression of the disease. And that right now is probably the most important thing a person can do for themselves. In addition to, we share in the support group with each other, and we learn new things about
how to deal with everyday challenges, just a good quality of life, living as well as you can with the disease.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, your father
My father had Parkinson's
as
also.
well.
Yeah.
And was there anybody else in your family?
Not that I'm aware of. No, not that I'm aware of.
So,
But, and he had a different type, or a different set of symptoms than my husband does. So he was
He had rigidity, and
freezing. You can freeze. You're moving, walking along, and all of a sudden you just can't move another step. Your body just freezes out.
Wow. Caused by the same symptoms.
It's
the same disease, different
disease.
set of symptoms.
Right, okay.
But basically, he's lost control of his muscles.
Yes.
He no longer has the coordination to even walk, and the coordination to allow the brain to signal your legs to get moving. Oddly enough, when you see a person like that, all you need to do is tap them on the back and they'll start moving again.
Really?
It helps them out. Yeah, it's a
phenomenal disease. You just can't believe some of the symptoms that you will have.
So what are some of the issues that people bring to the support group each month? What have been some of the key areas that you discussed?
Finding a good doctor.
Yes, that's probably the most important issue.
You get diagnosed by your general physician, and they just might say, here, take this pill and come see me in next year. Well, you don't know what it's about, you don't know what to expect, and what you really need to do is find a good movement disorder neurologist. Not just a neurologist, but a movement disorder neurologist, because neurologists cover a gamut of neurological problems. A movement disorder neurologist will help you specifically with what you're going to deal with in Parkinson's. So, medication.
I think you can find treatments for the disease that you're just not going to find with a general practitioner. General practitioner from close into this area would probably prescribe something short of the gold standard drug. Wait until you got much worse and then prescribe the gold standard. I've had a much more aggressive approach. I'm always looking for the latest state-of-the-art treatment for Parkinson's, and then in the support groups I convey to everybody there what I'm experiencing. So I volunteered my body for 3 different tests, studies, trials, and I'm on one now that I think is I feel like I don't even have Parkinson's. I have a pump connected to me that goes into my body and continually delivers this drug called Cinnamate to my system. So it bypasses the digestive system, which has a tendency to cause all kinds of fluctuations and timing issues with the pills that people ordinarily take. So I don't have any of that problem. It's just a smooth flow through of the dopamine substitute.
Now, the group meets monthly, correct?
Yes, we meet monthly, third Wednesday of the month at 1 p.m. Always at Nelson County Community, our Public Library Community Room, except through the summer we take a social time where we go on to a restaurant. June, July, August, we'll go meet at a restaurant through the year or through the summer just to stay connected, but in a more social manner. So this month is our last regular meeting for this year.
It's part of the therapy too. Let me just add that it's almost invariably when someone's diagnosed with Parkinson's, they draw into themselves, they go through denial. And even as they start to come out of that, they don't want to be social, they don't want to be around people. So we kind of take the lead in that and get them out into the restaurants and get them doing things that ordinary people do every day. And there's nothing to be ashamed about, there's nothing to worry about. You can't worry about something that is just going to progress. You've got to learn how to deal with it. And so we get out and do that.
So this is for whether you've been diagnosed for a while, recently diagnosed, taking care of someone, know of somebody, you can all attend this Parkinson support group, correct?
Definitely.
It's for anyone out there, and again, it's going to be on the third Wednesdays at 1 o'clock.
Right.
And for May, it will be at the Public Library in Nelson County, right?
Correct.
And then in June and July and August, you're going to go to some different restaurants. And during our community calendar, when we get our notes from Jane, we'll pass them along too, so we can let you know where that will be. But if somebody has some questions, is there someone they can contact, or is there a way
Well,
they
definitely you can start with me, but I probably would refer you to our Parkinson Support Center of Kentuckiana, which is based in Louisville, and I can give you the number if you should call me. I don't know, or you can find it online at pscky.org. I don't know if you can put that up.
pscky.org.
And that will cover all the support groups that are available in the not tri-state area, but
our Tri-County area.
Yeah, Tri-County area. Yeah, we kind of draw from Hardin, Nelson, Washington, and Marion, and have had LaRue County people. So,
So it's centered here in Bardstown, but it is for anyone in the whole area.
Definitely.
And do you have a number that they can call then too?
Yeah, you can call me at my home number, 502-350-4458, and
leave
a message if I don't answer, and we'll get you connected with us or to somebody else that will be closer, if not us. So all are welcome.
And there isn't a cure for Parkinson's, right?
No, we don't want to misrepresent. What we do at these meetings is we share with each other, and it is enormously helpful to most of the members of our group.
Right, because if you have questions, I mean, other people will have potentially similar situations or have had those questions that they've had answered. So you can get some support from the Parkinson Support Group. Again, they meet the third Wednesday of the month. In May, it will be at the Nelson County Public Library at 1 p.m. And this has been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.